make America great again. God bless you and good night. I love you.
Wow. Donald Trump's promise once sparked hope for a prosperous America, where every citizen had the opportunity to rise. And millions of voters cast their ballots for Trump with the belief that their lives would improve, and America would return to the golden era they had longed for. But what is the reality?
Taking office and Elon close by his side, we've seen the kind of attacks they've had on human rights, on our medical system, our federal workers.
Well, I think Trump and Musk are basically purging the government of anyone who disagrees with them.
Protests against Trump and Musk are increasingly growing and spreading. They do not just stop at political opposition, but also bring alarming consequences. Many once vibrant and attractive states are now on the brink of decline as the economy plummets, taxes tighten, crime increases, and hundreds of thousands of people leave. Today, we will explore the 10 states that are declining the fastest, places where voters are starting to regret their choice. Is there a way to revive these states? Or is this the beginning of a long-term decline? Is your state on this list?
Demonstrating was celebrated a bit differently.
Although the current weather in New York is not very pleasant, hundreds of people still gather in Manhattan every day to protest against what the Trump administration and his close associate Elon have been doing lately. The protest march started from Union Square and then moved to Washington Square Park. New York was once seen as a symbol of prosperity, a city that never sleeps with seemingly endless opportunities. But do you still believe that New York is still the American dream? More than 500,000 people have left this state in just the past 2 years, taking with them their capital, knowledge, and hopes for a better life elsewhere. The once bustling and lively streets have now given way to protests against the Trump administration and his close associate Elon Musk. New York has really changed a lot since Trump took office. Just walk through Times Square, or take a stroll around Midtown Manhattan, and you'll immediately notice the stark changes. Tall buildings with "For Lease" signs are appearing more and more frequently. The financial corporations that once considered New York their home are no longer enthusiastic about the state. Many other companies have relocated their headquarters or expanded their offices to states with more tax-friendly policies like Florida or Texas. Homelessness is also an alarming issue for New York, if you think only the poor. Now, not only the poor, but also those who once worked in the technology and finance sectors have fallen into this situation. Just overnight, they lost their jobs due to the massive layoffs initiated by Trump and Musk.
I am one of the thousands of federal workers that was laid off.
I've worked so hard, and I've just always thought that hard work pays off, and it doesn't feel like that right now.
Not only the economy, but the increasing crime rate has also become a nightmare. New York City currently has the highest crime rate in the past 20 years. People no longer feel safe using the subway, which was once the lifeblood of the city's transportation system, but has now become a place where a series of risky incidents occur. And when they lost faith in the legal system, a wave of migration out of the city erupted. New York used to be the largest financial and cultural center in the United States, but now it is gradually losing its status. The combination of high taxes, rising crime, and political instability has caused many people to leave the city they once cherished. If there is no significant change, the prospect of New York becoming a second Detroit is entirely possible. What do you think about the future of New York? Can it be revived, or is it on the brink of irreversible decline? Please leave your opinion. Texas has long been regarded as a symbol of independence and prosperity. a solid bastion of conservatism in the heart of America. But now, this state is changing faster than ever, and not in the direction many people expected.
Start talking to your community about what's affecting you, and let them talk to you about what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like. That was the chant echoing through the streets of Texas as thousands took to the streets to protest the Donald Trump administration and Elon Musk's interference in national policies. The participants not only expressed their dissatisfaction with the government's policies, but also voiced concerns about the administration gradually stripping away citizens' rights and altering democracy in favor of the wealthy elite. Protesters in Texas emphasized that the government's cutback policies and expanded powers are threatening their lives.
For all of the money you've collected, much of it through corporate welfare and taxpayer subsidies.
He doesn't care about people. He has no empathy whatsoever. So he can be the richest man in the world, but I'm not going to help contribute to that.
The mass migration from blue states like California and New York not only brings in a flow of money, but also carries opposing political ideologies. Many locals are concerned that Texas is losing its conservative identity as major cities like Austin, Houston, and Dallas become increasingly left-leaning. Recent election results show that the Democratic Party is experiencing a significant increase in votes, a sign of an inevitable political shift. This state is also known as the front line in the immigration crisis with Mexico, and this has created a tense battle between the state government and the federal government. The Texas government has repeatedly criticized Washington's immigration policies, arguing that they have led to a surge of illegal immigrants crossing the border, exacerbating security and crime issues. Many Texans feel abandoned, as the federal government has not taken strong action to address the situation. Another factor that makes Texas harder to live in is the cost of living. This state used to be an ideal destination for those wanting to escape the high taxes and expensive living costs of California or New York. But now, Texas is no longer as cheap as many people think. Housing prices, electricity rates, food costs, insurance, and even property taxes have all risen sharply, making many locals feel that Texas is becoming exactly the place they want to avoid. The state's readiness to welcome hundreds of thousands of internal immigrants has also put pressure on traffic, hospitals, and schools, leading to frequent traffic jams in major cities and rising healthcare costs. Texas used to be a place where many Americans dreamed of, a land of opportunity, affordable living, and conservative politics. But now, with changes in the economy, immigration, and politics, many people are wondering if Texas can still hold on to its soul. At the beginning of February, thousands of Californians also participated in protests against Trump's immigration policies, with a series of strong actions such as blocking highways in Los Angeles and San Diego. Many businesses in Napa closed to observe Day Without Immigrants. Students in Fresno collectively walked out of class to express their views. Students at universities are marching across campuses to protest the authorities. Additionally, hundreds of people also gathered in Sacramento to protest Elon Musk and the DOGE government efficiency department he leads. What has caused the people of California to take such strong action? California used to be a symbol of creativity, prosperity, and the American dream. But today, California is no longer the promised land that many once believed in. In the past 5 years, more than 1 million people have left California, making it the fastest shrinking state in the U.S. Elon Musk's decision to move Tesla's headquarters has left thousands of Californians unemployed. Musk was criticized for his personnel reduction policy, and instead of trying to engage in dialogue with the California government, he chose to move away. He once stated that California is becoming an unfriendly environment for business. Suddenly losing their jobs, many workers couldn't cope in time, leading them to become homeless. If you stroll through downtown San Francisco, the first image that might catch your eye could be the hundreds of tents of homeless people overflowing onto the streets that were once the center of technology and finance. What is concerning is that many of them once had stable jobs, but could not keep up with the skyrocketing cost of living. In addition, California is also the state with the highest personal income tax rate in the United States, reaching 13.3%. This figure drives high-income individuals to seek relocation to Florida, Texas, or Nevada, states with more favorable tax rates. Not only individuals, but also small and medium-sized enterprises are being suffocated by high operating costs, while large corporations choose to leave to save millions of dollars each year. Perhaps in the near future, California needs to reduce the tax burden on businesses and individuals, creating a more attractive environment to retain talent and large corporations. At the same time, there should be affordable housing support and social services to help those in difficulty have the opportunity to return to the labor market. California used to be the center of innovation in America, where every dream could come true. But with a declining population, businesses fleeing, and rampant homelessness, the state is at a crucial turning point. Can California regain its position, or will it continue to sink deeper into crisis? When mentioning Illinois, one immediately thinks of the vibrant city of Chicago with its stunning architecture, signature dishes like deep dish pizza, and a robust economy. But today, Chicago is no longer the American dream it once was. The population is leaving at an alarming rate. More than 80,000 people have left Illinois just in 2023, and this trend shows no signs of slowing down. One of the biggest reasons? Crime is rampant. No longer just isolated robberies, Chicago is sinking into a state of more notable and brazen crime. The cashless bail policy issued by the government has made it easy for criminals to be released after being arrested, creating a vicious cycle of violence. Meanwhile, the police force is always overwhelmed and underfunded. This has caused many residents to gradually lose faith in the security system of the city and the state. Not only security, but Illinois is also facing a huge financial crisis. The state government is shouldering a public debt of over $200 billion, a figure that has raised concerns among many investors. The budget cuts have led to a reduction in funding for a series of public services, causing significant difficulties for the residents' livelihoods. The state's pension system is also on the brink of collapse, with some reports suggesting that Illinois could become the first state unable to afford pensions for public employees. A retiree in Springfield, Illinois, shared, "I worked my whole life to earn this pension, but now I'm worried that the state won't have enough money to pay it. If they cut it, I have no choice but to move away." Illinois has all the potential to become a prosperous state, an important financial, industrial, and transportation hub. But with rising crime rates, mounting public debt, and exorbitant taxes, the people are gradually losing faith in the state's future. Can Illinois turn the situation around, or will it continue to lose population and influence? What do you think about the future of Illinois? Please share your opinion. When mentioning Oregon, many people will immediately think of the city of Portland, which was once a symbol of creativity, freedom, and innovation. But today, if you walk through the streets of downtown Portland, you will see a completely different picture. Abandoned stores, buildings with shattered glass. Many businesses have chosen to leave. And on the streets, hundreds of homeless people camp along the sidewalks, amidst lines of graffiti covering the walls. Portland is no longer a paradise of freedom. It is becoming a forsaken land. If you regularly follow the news, you will know that Portland, Oregon, is one of the cities with the most protest days in the United States over the past decade. Since 2020, protests have been continuously occurring, many of which have spiraled out of control. Recently, protests against Trump, Musk, and major tech corporations have created an uncomfortable atmosphere for businesses. Portland has one of the highest business tax rates in the United States, making it extremely difficult to operate a small business. Strict labor and environmental regulations force technology, retail, and manufacturing companies to seek better options in other states. Portland currently has nearly 10,000 homeless people, a number that has increased by nearly 50% compared to 2019. The city government has spent over $2 billion to address the homelessness issue, but the situation has not improved at all. Many support policies have been introduced, but without accompanying reintegration programs, the homelessness situation continues to worsen. Portland used to be the pride of Oregon, but nowadays it is losing itself. From a city of creativity and innovation, it is gradually becoming a place where people no longer feel safe and businesses cannot survive. Many residents here are asking themselves whether Portland can rise from the crisis, or if it will continue to slide down the path of decline. In recent days, many veterans have gathered at the National Mall to protest President Donald Trump's policies. Handwritten banners filled the area, carrying strong messages against Trump and Elon Musk. No kings, no Doge, no Doge, no cuts to veterans' benefits. End the coup. I do not serve kings and lords. A protester stated, "I am here to show solidarity because what is happening to this country is not right." We are standing in front of the National Assembly building, witnessing the MPs not fulfilling their responsibilities. Washington is known as the state of the future, a brilliant technology hub where giant corporations like Amazon, Microsoft, and Starbucks converge. But now, many people no longer recognize this state. Housing prices are skyrocketing, street crime is rampant, and small businesses are shutting down en masse. Once a magnet for talent from all over the United States, now more and more people want to leave this state than ever before. Housing rents in Seattle have increased by more than 30% over the past 5 years, making it unaffordable for many middle-class workers. The once bustling downtown areas have become quieter, as more and more small businesses go bankrupt or relocate. Street crime has become a major concern. In 2023 alone, Seattle recorded over 50,000 criminal incidents, the highest number in the past decade. In addition, the homelessness crisis is also a concerning issue for this state. In the city of Seattle alone, there are more than 13,000 homeless people, many of whom live in makeshift tents stretching along the main roads. Areas like Pioneer Square, once a popular tourist destination, have now become places that locals avoid at night. Many stores have to close due to concerns for the safety of their employees. Washington remains a hub of technology and innovation, but without strong measures to control crime, support businesses, and address homelessness, it could lose its position permanently. Can this state recover, or will it continue to slide deeper into crisis? At one time, Pennsylvania was the heart of American industry. Philadelphia and Pittsburgh were once the centers of steel, coal, and heavy industry production, providing millions of stable jobs for workers. But today, factories are closing en masse, industrial downtowns are abandoned, and people are leaving in search of opportunities elsewhere. Hundreds of factories have closed in the past 2 decades, leading to a significant decline in manufacturing jobs. The unemployment rate in some industrial areas of Pennsylvania is 25% higher than the national average, forcing many people to switch to low-income jobs or leave the state. Pennsylvania once had an advantage due to its vast coal reserves, but strict environmental policies have significantly weakened this industry. Energy prices in Pennsylvania are higher than the national average, increasing operational costs for manufacturing plants, causing many companies to relocate to states with more favorable policies. The coal mining industry is restricted, causing thousands of miners to lose their jobs and weakening the entire industrial supply chain. When the industry declined, the income of Pennsylvania workers did not keep up with the cost of living. The poverty rate is increasing, especially in small towns where the economy used to rely entirely on manufacturing. People are forced to seek opportunities elsewhere. Pennsylvania is among the top 10 states with the highest emigration rates in the United States in recent years. Pennsylvania used to be one of the most important states for the American economy, but now it is gradually losing its position. Pennsylvania still has a chance to recover if there are the right policies to encourage production and economic development. Massachusetts was once considered the cradle of education, innovation, and knowledge, with prestigious universities like Harvard, MIT, and a strong economy. But now, more and more people are leaving this state, and the reasons are not hard to understand. The cost of living is too high, taxes are steep, and policies do not provide real benefits for the middle class. House prices in Boston have increased by more than 50% over the past 10 years, making homeownership a luxury for the middle class. According to Zillow, the average home price in Boston is currently around $800,000, much higher than the national average. Rental prices are not much better. A one-bedroom apartment in downtown Boston rents for an average of $3,000 to $3,500 per month. This state also has one of the highest income tax rates in the United States, with a maximum rate of up to 9% after voters passed a law increasing taxes on high earners in 2023. Property taxes and sales taxes are also among the highest in the country, driving up the cost of living to an uncontrollable level. Massachusetts remains one of the states with the most advanced education and science systems in the United States. But if the cost of living, high taxes, and insecurity are not controlled, this state will continue to lose population, businesses, and even its identity. Minnesota was once known as one of the most stable states in America, a center of sustainable economic development with a high quality of life, low unemployment rates, and a business-friendly environment. But in recent years, this state has been sliding into crisis. Minneapolis, the largest city in the state, was once an ideal model of urban growth. But since the large-scale protests in 2020, crime has rapidly increased. Businesses have fled, and Minnesota is gradually losing its appeal as a neutral, balanced state. Target, Best Buy, Walgreens, and many major retail chains have closed or scaled back operations in Minnesota due to their inability to cope with theft and unrest. The departure of businesses not only causes thousands of jobs to disappear, but also drives up the prices of goods due to a lack of supply. Many large offices in downtown Minneapolis are left vacant, turning the area, once an economic hub, into a ghost town. Minnesota was once considered a neutral state, balancing conservative economic policies with progressive social programs. But the deepening political polarization has caused the state to lose its inherent stability. Economic policies are no longer attractive enough to retain investors, while public spending continues to rise, creating a heavier tax burden for the people. The social welfare system is not keeping up with demand, causing homelessness and poverty to worsen. Minnesota used to be one of the most livable states in the United States, but recent years have shown a completely different story. Political issues, rising crime rates, and the withdrawal of businesses are causing this state to gradually lose its standing. Can Minnesota rise from the crisis, or will it continue to sink deeper into instability? Detroit, once the heart of the American automobile industry, a city that represented prosperity and opportunity. But today, Detroit and Michigan are facing an economic crisis, forcing many residents to have no choice but to leave the place they once called home. What happened to one of America's greatest industrial centers? Why has Michigan, especially Detroit, once again fallen into the spiral of decline? Detroit used to be the headquarters of major car manufacturers like Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler, but the automotive industry here has severely weakened. Many factories closed or moved to states with lower operating costs, causing the unemployment rate in Detroit to rise to 9%, nearly double the national average. The once bustling neighborhoods have now become abandoned areas, with thousands of vacant and deteriorating houses. Although Detroit and other cities in Michigan have lower housing costs compared to states like California or New York, the prices of goods and services are high. Electricity, water, and other utilities are expensive, making life increasingly difficult for the working class. Meanwhile, the average wage in Michigan is lower than in other states with developed industries, making life more difficult than ever. In the past 10 years, Michigan has lost hundreds of thousands of residents due to a lack of jobs and economic opportunities. Highly educated young people are leaving the state to seek opportunities elsewhere, such as Texas, Florida, and North Carolina. This creates a downward spiral. As fewer people stay, the state's economy weakens and the infrastructure deteriorates further. Michigan was once the industrial heart of America, but now it is losing its status. Detroit, once a symbol of the automotive industry, is now becoming a heartbreaking lesson in economic collapse. Will Michigan be able to rise again and return to its golden age? Or will it continue to witness the departure of residents, businesses, and opportunities? From New York to California, from Illinois to Michigan, the states that were once symbols of opportunity and prosperity are spiraling into crisis. Businesses are leaving, crime is increasing, high taxes are suffocating the people, and more voters are realizing that their decisions in the voting booth have brought about unintended consequences. What is the lesson learned? Politics is not just slogans or promises on television. It is a reality that affects everyone's daily life. Policies that seem good on paper sometimes create serious consequences that no one anticipates. But is there still a chance to rectify this situation? Can these states reverse the trend, restore the economy, ensure security, and regain their position? That depends on the decisions we make today. What do you think is the truly effective solution to prevent this collapse? Leave your thoughts below